So JD's in definitely. JD's in the chat, but just nothing's on. But I just went live, so maybe it's working now.
Okay, well, customer support wants to know if I send a screenshot. I don't even know how to do that.
No, that's cool. It's all good now, Kelly. It's working. You can tell them thanks for their help.
Okay.
But everything is fine. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Michelle and JD. We have Mia in. Finally got it working. Sorry, it's a little bit late, but it's the first time we ever did it, and I had no idea what was going on. So welcome. So why don't we just where's everybody calling in from? Hey, Anne. You can see all the chat, can't you, Kelly?
I can see the chat.
Okay, Penny. How do I do that, Penny?
Miss Pin. How do you make her a moderator?
I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Anne okay. From Michigan, well, anyway, hi guys.
Glenn from Sydney.
Like a bunch of crazy.
Mia from Melbourne. Thanks for joining us. And we did get it started. So how about we get started with the first set of questions we had from one of the viewers last week. I think it was. Kelly, you've got them written down, don't you?
Yeah, about NESARA, or is it Agenda 21?
Yeah, we'll just go down the list.
Well, no, that was the question. Is this NESARA that's coming, or is it really just like trickery and it's Agenda 21?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Good question. I know you and I were talking off camera about this just a few days ago. So why don't you kind of share your thoughts on that for now, and then I will chime in.
Okay. So I don't really know for sure which way it is, because I have my own like intuitive gut feelings that say that we should be leery of some of it. I'm all for NESARA if that's what actually happens. But in my opinion, either way, I think we shouldn't be waiting on the government for anything. That we should just really take back the control ourselves of everything that we can, even though the financial system is something that people think they can't really tackle. But I mean, we are consumers. So everything that we purchase is going to affect the market, right? So we really do have more control over everything than we think we do. And I don't think it's wise for us to sit around and wait for the government or wait for the military or whoever the hell to do something and save the day, just like we shouldn't sit around and wait for Jesus to come back and save us. I think that we are who we've been waiting for. And we need to start like stepping up, using our voice, and taking our damn world back. You know, that's my opinion. So who the hell cares if NESARA is going to happen or not? Really? I mean, not that I disrespect it, because I would love for NESARA to happen. But my point here is, why are we sitting around and waiting for anything? Why are we doing that? Like, if we want people to wake up and we want people to take their own power back, why are we still waiting for somebody else or some group to do something? You know, if that's going to happen, great. It'll still happen. But we need to be active now instead of waiting for that. I think instead of sitting around waiting on it and dwelling on it and wondering about it, we need to be actionable, you know. And no offense to anybody, because it's a great question. It's a really great question. I don't know the answer to it for sure. I don't know if it's really NESARA. I don't know if it's Agenda 21 trickery bullshit. I don't.
Yeah.
I know that there's parts of it I don't trust, parts of it I really love.
I mean, there are certain things that Pimpy from Pimpy Investment Chat, he's done a lot of on this, and he's done a lot of videos stating like certain things that have happened. I know Janine even had 3 credit cards, she said, zeroed. So things are definitely happening in terms of, you know, credit cards, whether it be loans and, you know,
and
loans and your student loans and mortgages and things like that. So it seems like things are happening for sure. I haven't had anything happen to me yet. I don't really have any debt. I've just got a credit card. But, you know, it doesn't mean that things aren't happening. And I think that in terms of the gold standard, I saw somebody ask, is that the current money system, I think, is unsustainable, and it has been for a very long time. It's a Ponzi scheme. Now, whether that means like assuming that the good guys are in control, then yes, we would be looking at changing that for sure. And whether that means we're going to gold standard, who knows? It could be precious metals or of all kinds of many different kinds. On the other hand, if the good guys aren't in charge, then I saw a video recently where Lynette Zhang talked about it, and I think she said something like, it may be a gold standard initially, like ours, it did start off as a gold standard and they took us off of it. So it may be something similar to that, where they put it on for a while and then they take it off again. So I guess we'll only know when it happens, if it happens. But one thing's for damn sure, though, that because the monetary system is unstable and it is probably going to collapse at some point, it would be wise to maybe put a little bit of money into precious metals because of that, for that reason. Because whether we go back to the gold standard or not, I'm of the opinion that the precious metal markets are in a pretty good position to keep going up in the near future, for at least the next 5 to 10 years or something.
Agreed. And I do feel like we're going back to a gold standard. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, I do feel like we're going back to a gold standard and a silver type standard. But the thing I don't know for sure is that going to end up screwing us over? Because we don't have stockpiles of gold. So if this is more of an Agenda 21 thing, and we go back to the gold standard, then we're just kind of, right?
Yeah. But and what you said is very true. We do have the power. And the funny thing is, maybe not so funny, but the interesting thing is that there are only a really handful of companies that own most of the companies in the world. So if we do really decide to pull our money from these things, it's going to hit them hard, like big time hard, because they own everything.
Yeah.
Like 86% of the money that was earned in 2017 was made by these companies. So they own everything.
Right.
So we do have the power to grow our own food. We can do a lot of different things. We can do it. Actually, Carol had a lot of questions. She was the one that wrote a few of those questions I gave to you before. But yeah, we do have the power. The purchasing power. The dollar is a huge.
Yeah.
Does have a lot of power. So us as the people, we need to. We really do need to kind of take it upon ourselves. Like no one's gonna create a big group where we all say, okay, we're just going to stop buying this thing now. We all just have to decide that individually, and really just do it for your own health, I suppose, because a lot of the stuff that they put in those foods that we buy is really bad anyway. So why wouldn't we grow our own food and and kind of remove ourselves from the system as much as possible?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I hope a lot of people really want to do, is go back to the old ways, And I see that JD Lee over here keeps talking about making her own shampoos and stuff. And I want people to do that too, make their own homemade shampoos, their own homemade conditioners and soap and, everything that you possibly can, because we don't have to buy all that crap that has the chemicals in it. We really don't. And it's so freaking easy to do this shit yourself at home. It really is. I mean, take back our consumerism powers, supply and demand. We want better products. They need to make better damn products if they want our money. Stuff that's chemical free, stuff that is safe for us and our children and our pets and our planet, And until they do it, we can just do it ourselves. And then maybe by the time they catch up, we won't want their stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. I think it really just comes down to it. We have so much more power than we know and then we think, that because we've been programmed to think that we don't, and we really do. And and a lot of it resides in our, you know, in our mindset and our thoughts.
Yes, it certainly does. I'm going to reply to a few of these people real quick. Mrs. Pinpin keeps telling you about the moderator thing, but I just asked, oh boy, you know, our chat helper guy, whoever he's called. And he actually said she needs to like email you or something to make that work right. So
yeah, because it's not working.
We won't worry about that.
I tried to.
Yeah,
I've only got 2 options, and it's not adding you as a mod isn't one of them, unfortunately. But next time, thank you for the offer, though.
Yes, thank you very much.
Let's answer JD's question.
Yeah.
And she's a friend of mine, and she's been having. I'll scroll up to the question. The question is, do you think the crown chakra activation could cause total hair loss from the head?
Right.
Because all her hair fell out, and she's not sure why. And she's really healthy as well.
Right. Okay. So I don't really think that activating your crown chakra per se is what's causing the hair loss and the regrowth in a different color. I honestly believe that that's something on a cellular level, because you're doing so much activating and connecting your chakras and the meditation and all the work you're doing, the like internal work is changing you on a cellular level. And what is hair? Hair is like a byproduct, a trash can for toxins that are in our body. I mean, we all kind of really like our hair, but that is what it is on a scientific level, is the way to get rid of waste. So as you're cleansing your body from the inside out on a cellular level and beyond, your old hair that has the toxins in it would fall out, and then your new healthy hair would regrow and very, very likely have a different color to it. Or even a different, like say you used to have straight as a poker hair, it would start growing in curly all of a sudden, or vice versa. You see, because you've kind of changed your whole makeup by all of the meditational work and inner work that she's doing. She's reprogramming herself from the inside out. And I love that she said that she uses white vinegar for cleaning. I love vinegar for everything. I use it as a disinfectant. Like if I'm cutting up meats on my counter, I would clean that up with vinegar instead of using any kind of disinfectant. When my children get cuts, I wipe it down with vinegar rather than using alcohol, because alcohol actually kills the good germs and the bad ones in the skin. And we need the good ones to help heal the wound. And then also for your hair, vinegar is a very good natural conditioner for your hair. It makes it very shiny and soft, and the smell dissipates after a few minutes. A lot of people can't stand the smell of vinegar. And but if you
can
add
use it as a deodorant as well, can't you?
Yes, you can. Yes.
Yeah.
You can use it as a mouthwash. You can drink a teaspoon of it.
It kills the bacteria.
Yeah. Well, it balances pH is what it does.
Right.
The vinegar balances the pH in your system inside and out. And so even if you've got really bad indigestion or heartburn, you can drink a teaspoon of vinegar or mix it with some water if you can't just drink the shot by itself, you know. But a teaspoon of it will fix heartburn and indigestion faster than any like Tums or Rolaids or, you know, over the counter stuff, anything like that. Yeah, it's amazing. And it's perfectly safe for everybody. You know, you can give it to your kids. Of course, you don't want to give your kids a teaspoon of it, because, you know, maybe like a fourth or a half of a teaspoon, and dilute it in juice or water or anything. I mean, vinegar is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So no, to answer her question, I don't think that her crown chakra being activated is what's causing her hair to fall out. I think that it's actually like a renewal process. Think of yourself as the phoenix, right? It's a death and rebirth. So I think she's doing something really good, because I know a lot of people that experienced hair loss and regrowth after like activating their Kundalini and stuff like that. So I think she's okay. And as far as I know, there's no side effects. Yeah, you're going to be okay, JD. God love you. I love all your questions. She's been using fenugreek on yogurt for her hair growth. That's awesome. Now, see, I didn't know that. That's a new one. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've done a few different hair masks, and the ingredients in those are red onions and honey, and also sometimes I use coconut oil, but a lot of different essential oils I use as well. And I found that it actually did, because I'm kind of thinning a little bit at the front, and I found that I actually did start to grow some new hairs. Like you could see it, and it happens quite fast too. I don't think they grow as quickly as the rest of the hair, but because I'm male pattern baldness, like it's the follicles are kind of a little bit dead. You know what I mean? That's why they're like the way they are. But it definitely works. It's an all natural remedy as well.
Yeah, and a good way to promote more hair growth is to stimulate your scalp, either with brushing your hair a lot, or that. Yeah, do you have one of those metal things that like you put it in? It's crazy looking. I have one of those too. I like to go around behind my kids and put it on there. It's like a little head scratcher plunger.
Yeah, I gotta set it up and stick it to my wall because it doesn't feel as good when you do it yourself. So I've got to kind of
I know. It really doesn't.
No,
it feels much better if somebody else is doing it.
Yeah.
Hi, Mia. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Anne. I love all these people that are on here. This is so cool. I love doing this live business.
It's really great to connect with everybody live.
Thank you for subscribing to the website, JD. Sorry, David.
That's right. I don't know if this video will get posted to YouTube because I'm not recording it or anything, and I don't. If it gets posted, great. If it doesn't, then I have to do it better next time. But we'll have to see what happens.
Well, aren't they on YouTube?
Yeah, they are on YouTube.
I think it's automatically going to YouTube, hun.
Yeah. Well, I
guys, give us an answer. Aren't you on YouTube watching this?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Yeah, because all of them have a little YouTube icon next to their reply.
Yeah.
To their comment. I think it is. I think you're fine.
So have a look.
And yes, Jesse. Yes, Jesse, you're correct. Low iron is a telltale sign of hair loss in some people. You're absolutely correct. Miss Pin says black cod liver oil helps. I never heard of that either. That's a good tip. I love that. Yes, thank you, Tanya. We are on YouTube, David. We're good.
Yeah. Good. Actually, Penny's somebody I talk to often, and she has her own toothpaste that she makes, and she hasn't been to the dentist in so many years, and her teeth are amazing.
Right on. Yeah. Well, we need her to come to the website and share her information on the forum with people. That's brilliant. I love that.
Yeah, and her husband apparently gives her crap for using the toothpaste or the fake toothpaste. But her teeth are way better than his, and he always has to go to the dentist, and she never goes. So the proof is in the pudding,
right? Yeah, I use a charcoal.
That's probably why they made that. That's probably why they made the toothpaste for us to use. So we have to go to the dentist. You know what I mean? There's probably something in there that.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Well, there's fluoride in it, and we all know that fluoride is,
and that's not good for your teeth at all. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you get to the damn dentist, and I'm sorry if there's dentists watching. I'm not trying to put dentists down, but come on, as a general practice, the first thing they do is stick the fluoride in your mouth and, clean your teeth with the little picks and scrape around on your teeth up real hard and stuff. And you come out of there with sore gums. I mean, you shouldn't leave the dentist from getting a cleaning with sore gums. I think that it's just all a big money game to get more money. Our dentists need to just be genuine and go off the beaten path and do their own way of treating people instead of following all these stupid guidelines that they're putting in place for doctors and dentists and stuff. I'm sure that they know how. I wish we had some rogue dentists in the world.
Yeah, I'm sure they're out there. I'm sure they're out there.
Who knew that'd be a topic of discussion today?
So Carol says, I did Kundalini yoga and activated my third eye for meditations, which opened up my mind blowing vision. Opened up mind-blowing visions a few years later, and I was diagnosed with a tiny pituitary tumor. Why might that have been?
I don't know. Third eye for meditation, which opened up mind-blowing visions a few years later. Did you get a second opinion on the tiny tumor? Did they do anything about it? What's going on with that? I want to know more, Carol.
Yeah, I've been doing coconut oil pulling for a while now. I did it on and off, but I'm doing it more on now these days, and I've heard it's really good for gum disease. Penny does
Michelle
it.
wants the recipe. Yeah, Michelle wants a recipe too, and I think it's probably for the toothpaste.
Yeah,
We all want to know, Penny, how do you make the toothpaste? Go put it on the website, on the forum. And I have an app for the forum, by the way.
okay.
How cool is that? It's called Spaces, but when you click on it after you log in and you click on it again, it says My Spaces.
Oh yeah.
How funny is that? Remember MySpace?
I do remember MySpace. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's hilarious. What else we got? No, I've never heard of the McAfee Dead Man Switch. Have you, David? What's that?
Yeah. So John McAfee, who died a few weeks ago, apparently didn't die, but he had, you know how all these people have dead man switches, because he was in cybersecurity. He was the McAfee antivirus guy, and had a lot of information. Apparently, I think it was like 37, or I don't know the exact number, 37 or 50 terabytes or something of information. And I think that was the dead man switch. I don't know if it was released or what happened to it though, but I do know that on his Instagram account, there was the 17th letter of the alphabet that got posted after he died, apparently. So that was really interesting. And I had a look at that and verified it. So it did happen. To me, that says a lot, really, doesn't it? I mean, either, why would anybody post that? It's really interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Real quick, just back to the comments over here. Tanya made a comment about coconut oil being used for pulling, for cleaning your teeth. Do you know what pulling is?
Yeah, we just spoke about that.
Yeah.
Oil pulling.
The swishing. She was saying coconut oil. But I always use olive oil. So I guess either would work. Coconut oil would probably taste better. Olive oil is a bit hard to handle.
He said sesame seed oil, I think.
Oh, that would be a good one too.
And peppermint oil. Sesame seed oil.
Yeah.
I think any kind of oil, really.
Carol, in response to your question, you think maybe you might have overused your third eye. I really don't. Like, I'm all about the Goldilocks principle. Everything needs to be just right and balanced. But I really don't see where we can actually overuse any of our chakras. This is a strange question to me that I'm really going to have to ponder and meditate on. But like, I don't think I've ever heard of anybody overusing or overactivating any chakras. I really don't.
But the chakras are, my understanding is the chakras, you can have, it's like a scale, and you want to have it as balanced as possible. Too far to the right or too far to the left is is not good either. I mean, too far to the left, it's closed, you know, or blocked. Too far to the right, it's overactive, right?
Right. I
So
mean, yeah,
you do want to balance them.
it can be. You do want them balanced, yes. And there is a such thing of one of them like working more than the rest of them. You know, for example, your heart chakra. And the whole point of the self-love courses that I'm trying to get people involved in, it's because we use that heart chakra as empaths, as intuitives, as people pleasers. You know, we're constantly using the heart chakra and maybe not the voice chakra as much. We're not speaking up for our own truth. We're not having clear boundaries. We're not saying no when we really need to, you know. And so, yeah, we're overusing the heart chakra in that sense. And well, okay. And to think about that, I know that from doing that, you can cause imbalances within your body, your health, from one chakra being used more or one chakra being closed off more than the rest. So maybe there is something to that. I mean, I don't have all the answers, guys, and I'm definitely going to look into this further because I know that closed chakras will cause physical ailments, disease, illness, pain, etc. So perhaps overuse or getting stuck on, or however you want to look at that, could definitely create imbalances within you too. And maybe even like JD thinks, you know, cause hair loss. And I love neem oil too, by the way, JD.
That's good for your hair, right? Neem oil?
It's good for your hair.
Yeah.
Sesame oil. Oh yes, I think I'm going to try the sesame seed oil definitely for the pulling. But I love doing pulling. I'm going to write that down so I don't forget.
So Tanya says that she doesn't feel that you can overuse the third eye. It's your birthright to use it. It's natural. And she's a medium and she's never overused it before. Not yet.
See,
anyway.
that's the way I feel too, Tanya. I'm with you. I don't think you can actually overuse them in that sense. I really don't. I've never heard of that before. So I really just don't feel like you can. And yes, it's all about balance, JD. That's true. Everything's about balance.
So Carol had quite a few questions, Kelly. I think the first one was, what's the Great Reset? I think that was the first question.
Okay, the one we just talked about? Yeah, NESARA and Agenda 21.
Not necessarily. I mean, yeah, we didn't talk about the Great Reset exactly. I mean, the Great Reset is essentially what they wanted to implement as a result of the current situation that they orchestrated, and it's like a solution to that problem, really. They wanted to, if you had debt, they wanted to take all your debt away in exchange for you handing over the rights to your property or whatever the debt was attached to, and then you would rent that from them. So it was essentially, it was their way of just having complete control over the entire, you know, everything else that's left, really. I mean, they practically own everything anyway, but it was just like the icing on the cake, I suppose, for them. And it's probably a bit more to it than that, but essentially it was renting everything and not being allowed to go certain places. Like, you know, if, you know, Agenda 21 is like, you can't even travel. There's no, you know, interstate, not even interstate travel. There's no international travel, no interstate travel. Basically, you're stuck in this area. They wanted to move everybody into the cities so they can control everything a lot easier. And that's essentially part of, well, it's not all of it, but part of what Agenda 21 was about.
Right.
Yeah.
Hello, Rachel.
Do you have anything else to add?
No, I just love what you said. I'm just trying to keep up with all of this.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Okay, what else? What other questions do we have here? The best way to raise your vibration and to transcend was someone's question.
Yeah, these are all Carol's questions.
That's Carol's also. Okay. So,
Yeah.
I think first we have to understand who we are, understand the self, and then you, like all of it, like truly regain your love of self, respect yourself, accept yourself, understand and accept that there's always room for improvement, but don't beat yourself up or see yourself as less than. Like, all right, I'm just going to breathe for a minute because I'm not getting these words out the way I want them to. The best way to raise your vibration and to transcend is to first love yourself, truly love yourself, and walk that daily. Okay. Walk in that power of really loving yourself. Then you can move forward, truly loving other people, loving what you do, being grateful for what you do. And the more grateful you are and the more love you feel, the more higher you vibrate naturally. And the more higher you vibrate naturally, the higher you're going to transcend and transform naturally. It's not you don't force it, right? I mean, there's not some quick way to do it. And I don't think that she was asking for a quick way to do it. She was asking for the best way. And I think truly the best way is to allow it to happen naturally. And to do that, we need to start with really loving ourselves again, because people don't do that. They don't know how to love themselves anymore, David. We all will quickly point out our own flaws and be apologetic rather than be proud and honor who we are and embrace it fully, and even people who want to be spiritual and embrace that life of love will give that love freely to other people, but we don't give it to ourselves. And we even second guess ourselves. And like, for example, we have lovely people here that are worried they're overusing their third eye, or they're overusing their crown chakra. And just as someone here said, I forget who it was now that I read it, but it is really a muscle that you're exercising, and the more you exercise it, the better you're going to be able to use it. So an overuse isn't really. It was Tanya that said it. She says, I don't feel you can overuse your third eye. It's your birthright to use it. It's natural. Oh, wait a minute. No, because it was something about a muscle. I mean, it might have still been Tanya that said it. It was Mrs. Pin. Your third eye thrives on the exercise. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. I completely agree with that. But my point here is that we second guess ourselves, even when we're doing things that we know are going to help us to vibrate higher and transcend. And if we're constantly second guessing ourselves and not loving ourselves, then we're not going to be able to vibrate at a steady, constant, higher level. That's my point that I'm trying to get to. I mean, I can vibrate really high 1 minute and then be really low the next if I don't know how to maintain that self-love. That's my point that I'm getting at here. Sorry if I made that sound confusing for anybody.
No, that's really important and very well said. I think there's a lot of things that we can do, and that's obviously a huge one. But in terms of like everyday things that we can do, limiting alcohol, not watching the media because the media keeps you in a fear state, doing things that you enjoy, doing things that you're passionate about will raise your vibration. Somebody's
Right.
Gavin said, don't forget to laugh. Absolutely. Watch a comedy movie or something, there's so many things that we can do. Food as well is a huge one, as Kelly, as you know, when the animals are slaughtered, they're in a fear state, and that energy we consume that energy. And so at animal agriculture in its current form, if you're eating a lot of meat, that will lower your vibration too. So, maybe if you're eating a lot of meat, eat some, eat more vegetables at this point, or, kind of source your own meat and kill the animal in a way that it doesn't strike fear into the animal. I don't really eat meat.
Right. And, you know, somebody actually kind of made a little bit of a, I guess, sort of a tongue in cheek or snarky remark about that when I talked about that with Catherine, the no fear kill. And I think that people just don't, first of all, we don't love ourselves enough, but we don't accept other people and their choices either enough. And we're all in this together, and we're all different people. We're all individuals, and we're all going to have different choices and paths in life and ways that we want to live. And we need to respect that about each other. So I just want to say that first, that we really need to try to come from a place of respecting each other and accepting that we're all going to have a different lifestyle or whatever. But yeah, it's not always possible for us to just go out and kill our own meat. And
No.
so granted, you know, like I buy from local farmers, but the farmers that I buy from, the people that do have the meat that I'm purchasing and eating for my family are good people. You know, they care about the animals, they care about the land. And so they're doing things in the most humanely possible way as well. And, you know, and we need to give props to our local people anyway and try to keep the commerce local, in my opinion, as well. But I digress. What were we saying? What's the point of what I was saying?
Well, you were talking about how everybody should, basically you were saying people should respect other people's choices, you know, I think.
Yes, but that really wasn't my main point. That was just one small point I wanted to make. But we're talking about food and laughter and doing things that we enjoy doing, right? And again, that goes back to self-love because, you know, like I'm thin, right? I'm a thin person. I've had 7 children. And I just actually said this to a friend of mine earlier tonight. I eat 5 meals a day. David knows this. I eat constantly. I eat before I go to bed. Yeah. I mean, like right before I go to bed. I have multiple snacks, but I'm not one of those people that thinks, oh, I just wrote on my head. I'm not one of those people that thinks about it. I don't count calories. I don't give a damn if it's fatty. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm healthy. I do eat healthy, but I treat myself, you know, I allow myself to have that piece of chocolate or, you know, whatever. I don't worry about images. I don't worry about things that would make me feel bad for what I'm doing. I feel perfectly good eating 5 small meals a day. I like doing that. I have low blood sugar issues. I need to eat a lot, you know, and I think that a lot of it is about thought, honestly. I mean, we are so, especially with food, right? We are so strict in how we think with food. Like, where did it come from? I mean, we need to know and care about that. But like, we're always worried about food in negative ways. And we need to enjoy food again. That's my point, is that we need to really enjoy food again. Enjoy life again. You know, embrace that shit. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. You go ahead.
No, look, I really think that, you know, just going off of what you said, I really feel that it doesn't matter how you look at it. There's certain things that are happening right now that we just can't stop. For one, the Great Awakening. Like, people are waking up like at an alarming rate. And, you know, with that comes a whole new mindset. And with that, in time, will bring on new ways of living, perhaps going back to older ways of living, and also being more conscious and making more conscious choices about the things we consume. So the world is headed in a good direction, I believe. And it may take longer, it may not take long, depending on what's happening behind the scenes that we don't really know about, you know. So
right.
But yeah, I really do feel that the world, you know, we are the people of the world. With like 7 billion people, we have the ability to change things. And the more people that wake up, the more people that decided to take upon themselves to kind of start these different movements for in whatever industry it is, will mean that the world changes at a rapid pace. It just has to kind of, and it's already started, but, you know, and will continue.
Yeah. And actually, one of our questions that someone sent in was, where do we see the Western world by 2030. And my answer to that fits perfectly with what we're talking about right now, because I think it's up to us where we're at in 2030. Don't you? Like, either we take back our power and we really truly co-create collectively the world that we want to live in through consumer products, through, you know, what foods we eat and how they're provided to us, or whatever it is. Like, it's up to us, because we are who we've been waiting for. So, I mean, if we step back on our ass and we do nothing about it and we wait for somebody else to save the day and change the rules, who knows where we're going to be in 2030, right?
Yeah, not in a good spot, I wouldn't imagine.
I wouldn't think so either.
No.
I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I don't trust too many alphabet agencies and
in governments, yeah.
such.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that's the thing. We've been lulled into this false. What was that?
I say we take the bull by the horns. Take back our world.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, we do. We
yeah.
do. You know, I think what we all have to remember is also that we agreed to come here at this point in time. You know, on a soul level,
that's right.
We agreed to this. So whether we like it or not right now, we decided to be here. And, you know, we could have taken ourselves off of the Earth plane before this even happened if we didn't think we could handle it. So, you know, we're here now, and we can definitely make a huge difference. You know, we just need to come together and work it out. And I think that's going to be one of the hugest learnings as well, that a lot of people is, because we've been divided in so many ways. They're dividing us through race and religion and sex and, you know, gender. You know, now there are 70 genders, you know, like, and all this stupid stuff.
Isn't that ridiculous?
But, it's stupid. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I saw you know, I've got the female and the male symbol, you know. I saw some of the symbols for all the other genders, and it's just basically they just took parts of ones and added it to the other ones, and it just looks really stupid.
Yeah. But, by the way, did you see the little fairy thing fly past you a minute ago? Sorry to interrupt you.
No, I missed that one. But I did a video earlier this week, which I have to upload, and there were like at least 4 times I saw these things flying around. Yeah. Some were really close as well. Some were like about here or something, really close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a very active room. You have a lot of spirit energy around you. I love that.
Yeah. So what did you think that thing was, that blue light in the back of in your background was then?
I have no idea, because look, can you see that I have like that, what do you call that? Like soffit shit, where you put the lights up inside the edge of the ceiling there. I don't know what you call that drop down part, but
okay, like where the grill is, like where the stove is or something. Or
yeah, but there's like lights up inside of that. But that light that showed up in the video was out here by the refrigerator, which is about 2 feet away from that wall.
I thought it was like above the roof. I thought it was near the roof. It's kind of
by the ceiling. No, it wasn't. Look, let me turn my light on and I'll show you.
Okay, it definitely wasn't. It definitely wasn't.
See the little metal signs were showing up in that video. They were kind of reflective of my camera lights. And that blue beam light came out in front of it, like away from this refrigerator corner over here. So I have no freaking clue what that was, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah, Gavin said that there was skyfish or rods. I looked up skyfish, and it's an interesting kind of phenomenon.
Well, that sounds kind of scary to me.
Yeah.
Don't have me scared, David.
You got these.
And I just want to say, I think JD should be my friend. She cracks me up. Her daughters call her Uncle Fester. She's too funny. And how the hell are you replying to them? I can't type a damn thing.
Oh, I may have to change your access. I don't know.
Oh, you're blocking me, are you? See, guys, see what he does to me.
Yeah, I don't know if only I can at the moment, but I'll work that out. This is a good question for you, Kelly, because we've spoken about this a bit. But are there aliens among us? And
Yes.
this might, yeah. But do you know which ones may have contributed to humanity in a positive way?
Well, sure. That would be like the Pleiadians and the Andromedans, you know. Some people call them Nordics, the Pleiadians. They've also been, referred to as the Nordics. And yeah, they've been part of this for a very long time. When I was 7 years old and spoke to that, you be careful what you're swatting at. You might swat a fairy.
No, I got a little fly flying around.
But when I was 7 and the beautiful young lady visited me in the park where I lived across the street from the park.
Tell that story.
She was a Pleiadian.
Nobody knows that story.
Have I not told that story? Oh my God, you
You
guys.
might have on the first video we ever did, but I don't know if many people who are watching now would know this story.
Okay, so when I was like 7 years, we lived across the street from the city park. And, my mother, she reupholstered furniture. My father was a captain on a riverboat, so he was gone all the time. And she worked from home, my mother, but she would tell us kids, just go outside and get out of my hair, right? So she could do her work. And we lived right across the street from the park, and it was fine. We knew everybody in town. Everybody watched out for everyone else. So that was typically a very fine, normal thing to do, was just go to the park by myself. And like I said, I was around 7, 8 years old. And as I'm walking into the park, like where I grew up in Arkansas, it's all flat land, so you can see for miles, right? But and so like halfway into the park, there's the shelter house, and I could see this really beautiful, I mean, freaking beautiful 17, 18-year-old girl standing next to the shelter house. Right? You know what you're familiar with what a shelter house is, right? Do you know what that is?
In the park?
In the park, a shelter house, it would be like picnic tables with like a roof
over them. Yeah.
And that's what we call a shelter house. Okay. So she's standing next to one of the picnic tables in the shelter house, and she's got a cast on her leg, like almost up to her thigh. And she's got crutches, and she's wearing like cut off blue jean shorts and a tank top, long, blonde, beautiful hair, perfect hair, a perfect physique. She was just muscular enough, just thin enough, perfect blue eyes, perfect face. I mean, her face was like a freaking angel. She was so beautiful. She was the epitome of gorgeous, right? And so me being a little kid, I'm just like awestruck by her. I just walk straight up to her. I'm just drawn to her. And, but she's a stranger because like I said, we know everybody in town, right? And I'd never seen her before. And so I just walk right up to her and I'm like, hello. And she had this really beautiful, like melody type angelic voice. It was almost like she was singing when she would speak, the way it was just this giggle to her voice that just made her so gleefully happy to speak, And I'm like, hello, who are you? And my name is Kelly. What's your name? And she said her name was Alanis. And I asked her where she's from. And she's like, oh, far from here. And I'm like, no doubt, because you got a cast on your leg and ain't a daggone person signed it. And I mean, everybody knows that you're supposed to sign a cast to wish people well, get them better. That's totally tradition for us. So it was a very normal thing. You've got a fairy flying around back there again. I just saw it.
Yeah, I saw that.
And she's like, oh, I didn't realize, like she felt like she had messed up or something. And I'm just like, that's the weirdest thing. Why would she feel like she messed up, But anyway, so we sat down at the picnic table and we're talking, and I'm just really just awestruck by her beauty and love talking to her as any little kid would. I mean, she had this wonderful energy about her, felt very loving and safe. And then I noticed that she looked up behind me and was looking at something quite oddly. So I turned around and looked, and I don't mean any offense by saying this, guys, but I grew up in a town that was segregated, and I firmly was against it. Absolutely 100% against it. But that was the facts of the 70s. We were in a segregated town where the Black people lived in one side of the town and the white people lived in the other side of the town. And we each had our own park and etc. So to see a Black person in our side of the city, in the park that I was in, was a very rare event, right? So this person that I turn and see that she's looking at is a very tall, slender albino man, and he's dressed to his finest.
He's African albino.
Yes, yes, and I didn't even know what an albino person or any other animal for that matter, I didn't know albinos existed when I was 7. I didn't understand who I was looking at exactly. I knew that he had all of the other features and characteristics of an African American man, but his skin was very pale. His hair was kind of almost a yellowish blonde, and he had red eyes. He had sunglasses on, but he took the sunglasses down to stare straight into my soul, I felt like. And he had red eyes. Well, of course, it frightened me because I didn't know that people could have red eyes. I didn't know that animals could have red eyes, except for that one poisonous frog that I knew about, I mean, I was just a little kid, right?
Yeah.
But he frightened me, and I could feel his negative energy immediately. I knew there was something really bad about him. And he had 2 little short people with him, but I still to this day cannot recall what they looked like. I just remember that there were 2 people or things on each side of him, but they're invisible in my mind because my little kid mind just blocked them out. But I know that there was something there. Well, anyway, I turn and I look at her, and I'm making all kinds of excuses. I'm like, I'm getting the hell out of Dodge because this guy feels sketchy. He feels real scary. And I don't know why he's walking straight up to us the way he is. And like I said, he was a very nice dressed man. He had on a 3-piece suit and a nice hat and sunglasses. I mean, there shouldn't have, other than the red eyes, I guess, there shouldn't have been any reason that I was afraid of him. But he had this really strong, scary presence. And so I turn and I look at her, and I'm like, I think I hear my mother calling. I better go home, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, don't worry. And again, in this like almost laughter type voice, she says to me, oh, don't worry. He can't hurt you while I'm here. And I'm looking at her like, girl, you're crazy because you got a cast on your leg up to your thigh, and we're both just girls. We're both just girls. And he's a big, tall man. So I'm like, I'm out of here. I just looked at her like she was crazy, and I just started like running away. But as I'm running away from her, I turn and I look back at her to say, it was nice to meet you, and I hope to see you again. Actually, I did say that to her, and she said that I will. She assured me that I will see her again. And as I looked past her to look at this man and his 2 friends, he was completely gone. Like he had completely vanished. And like I said, I grew up in a totally flatland area where you could see for miles. And this man was nowhere to be seen. Nowhere. It was like he just poofed and vanished. So then I'm really scared, and I'm really running faster to get across the street to the house. And when I get there, all of my neighbors are out everywhere. My parents were both outside. My dad was home from the boat at the time, but he was just not at home when I went to the park. But my brother was looking for me. My brothers that lived across town were there helping look for me. Everybody was frantically looking for me. And I'm like, what the heck, guys? I was just right there in the shelter house that you can see from our front porch. And they're like, no, you weren't, Kelly. You're lying. You were not in that park. We've been all over that park. Everybody's been looking all over this town for you, and you were nowhere to be found. And I'm like, I swear I was in that park in the shelter house this whole time. And to me, I was only there 15, 20 minutes. But like 3 hours had passed. 3 hours of them thinking that I was missing. So who knows how long I was really there, because, you know, my mom sent me off to play to begin with. So it had to have been like 2 or 3 hours before she realized that I was missing, even, you know, that I hadn't come back home. So, I mean, who knows really how much time I lost. But I can't even fathom how I lost the time, because to me it was only 15 or 20 minutes. So that was a crazy cool experience for me. But I'm absolutely convinced that she was a Pleiadian, because she was so perfect. She was absolutely perfect. And she clearly did protect me from whoever this man and his friends were, you know, because my whole neighborhood, my whole half of the town thought that I was missing, and they were in that park looking for me. So I don't know if like I was blipped out, you know what I mean? Like they took me somewhere, and I just had like this screen memory of only being in the shelter house, or maybe they swiped my memory. Hell, I don't know. I still can't explain it to this day. And I would love to be hypnotized and find out.
Yeah.
I would really love to put those pieces together. So if anybody wants to hypnotize me, I am game. I am all
you should
for
do
it.
that. I would love to know the outcome of that story. And
Yes.
do you think that do you think they were all extraterrestrials, like all 4 of them?
Oh yeah. Yes, because now, okay, we had that movie Men in Black come out with Will Smith in it. And that's exactly what this man looked like to me. He looked like a man in black, you know?
Right.
He fit that whole description of the way they dressed, the dark sunglasses, the whole, you know, the whole scenario. He had that ominous vibe about him, like the whole deal. I think he was an MIB. I don't know why he was there, but yeah, I think, and I think the Men in Black are aliens, you know?
Yeah,
I don't think they're,
I've heard a lot of different stories about them. I think it's a combination of you know, humans and extraterrestrials, and depending on your, you know, depending on what the incident is, you know.
Yeah, because I've had a few experiences with some 3-letter alphabet people dressed like that too, but they're not nearly as intimidating.
Yeah, because
Not nearly.
there was a video that came out many years ago where there are these 2 guys. They're about 6'4", and they both came into this hotel looking for a guy who apparently saw some sort of a flying object, and he wasn't there at the time. But you can see these guys walk in with it on the CCTV footage, and they kind of walk really funny, like their feet are not going like this. They're kind of like all over the place. They kind of like, they walk really weird.
Something else about. Yes, that man that walked up to me in the park seemed to not really be walking on the ground. His feet seemed very odd, very strange. Yeah. I totally forgot about that until you said that. And I'm reading some of these comments over here. JD cracks me up.
Yeah, JD's a funny girl.
She is. Hello, Stephanie from New Zealand. And yes, this Great Awakening is definitely a wild ride. But if we're laughing more often, and we transmute this negativity into positivity, all of this can really be a blessing to us instead, you know?
It's really exciting. You know, even though there are lots of, you know, crazy things going on in the world, and wild weather and civil unrest, unfortunately, and a bunch of other things too, it still is, you know, very exciting. I think we're really only kind of just getting started, to be honest. You know, I think there's a lot more to come.
Yes, I agree. And I'm not smiling at what you're saying. I'm just reading comments.
Yeah. And I also think that, and I had this thought last night, that in order for the majority of the world who don't have a clue what's happening, in order for them to be able to see what's happening, things are going to have to get scary. You know, they are going to have to get probably worse.
Yeah.
Because
I
Otherwise,
think
they'll
so
never believe
too.
it. They'll never believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, I
And
think you're right.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that entails, but there is going to be, and a few of the different psychics are saying that, like there was talk of a possible nuclear attack, a scare, and that was going to be fake, but most of the people around the world would think it's real because it's on the news or something, and everybody else in the know would know it was just kind of just for show, and that hasn't happened yet. So I don't know
Yeah.
whether that will happen or what what will happen or what that thing is going to be, but it is going to be interesting.
Right.
And I think the most important thing to remember is that if we do hear something like that that does seem scary, that most people are freaking out about, then just remember that it's all part of some sort of a plan.
Yeah. Right.
And
Kind of like when
hopefully it's a
the,
good plan. Hopefully it's a good plan, not a bad one.
right. Kind of like when the whole lockdown first started. Everybody else around me was panicked and worried and fearful. And I was that one that sat back and was like, wait a minute, let's think about this for a second. What's really going on? And of course my conspiracy mind kicked in first. But also on the flip side of that, it's the only thing that I can still think of to this day that would cause the whole world to shut down and everybody to have to be still and to look around them and, really look at their family members instead of staring at their cell phone all the time. Really have a genuine conversation with somebody and ask questions and, connect with each other again and stuff. So in a lot of ways, we can turn it into blessings, is my point.
Yeah.
I don't think the Great Awakening would have happened quite as great as it has if it wasn't for the onset of that lockdown.
I think
That's
you're
when
right.
a lot of people
Yeah.
really started waking up. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. If it weren't for the
gonna
lockdown, I wouldn't be, I wouldn't have known half of the stuff I know now, not even half, So it definitely did.
Right.
It's kind of funny how it worked out because in many ways, it's so difficult they have to show their hand at some point, and at some point everyone's going to know. I mean, there are still people that don't believe that there's a different agenda at play, right? But in my opinion, some people are beyond help. But in Australia, the government just came out and said that first I don't know, did they do this in America where they said you can't sing and you can't dance? Did they do that in America? Like at weddings and stuff, or
They tried to do that in some places, but it didn't really go over that well.
Yeah. So they did that here.
We're kind of a hard group to control a lot,
Well, but we'll get to that in a second, and I know why, and we'll get to that in a sec. But we had the government saying, yeah, you can't sing, you can't dance, can't sing Happy Birthday. But now they've said that if you go to the supermarket and you see somebody it's best not to talk to them. You can't even have a conversation with them. So
what?
So
oh my God.
So it's like, I don't know whether that's part of the waking everybody up, because if it is, I can see how it would work, like,
yeah,
that's just ridiculous. How can anybody hear that and not think that the government's overstepping their mark by telling you not to speak to, or talk, to people that
Right. But how many people are actually compliant to that?
Well, probably not many. I mean, especially talking,
You don't think
but I would
so?
imagine,
That's good.
Well, I don't know. It seems funny, but I also wonder how many of the people that don't know what's going on actually see these clips, because I don't know. I don't watch the media. I don't know if they're being played on the media. I mean, it seems like they are, but all I get to see is clips on Instagram and stuff. So I don't know who's watching these things. I don't know if most people get to see this or not. I assume they do. I assume they do, because it's probably in a press conference on the media or something,
Yeah. Real quick, I'm going to answer Tanya Mack's question. She wants to know where the lights, the blue lights in a row. And yeah, it was like a beam. It was like a sort of a little beam of light with like 5 orbs inside the little beam. That last video we did they're in it at about, what was it? About the 30-minute mark,
30,
35-minute mark.
36, 10 or
30.
12.
Yeah, it's right after I say the word
Round about there.
prepper or prep. And then boom, lights show up. I was like, oh God, what's up?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. There's
So
some
yeah,
really
to
weird
answer
stuff going on.
and go watch that video. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was. I mean, I've had orbs float around before, you know, or little fairy sprite things like you've got going on, but I've never seen a light like that. So that's really interesting and different.
Yeah. And, you know, I was talking to a friend a couple of days ago. We were talking about how in America, I don't know about many other countries, but America's definitely one where you guys know your rights. You have a constitution and you know, it's something to live by. Whereas in Australia, we have to go and dig it up and try and figure out what our constitution says. You know, I haven't even fully read it, you know, and we don't know our rights here. And that's one of the reasons why I think they haven't been able to keep you guys at bay so much, because you know your rights and you're taught it in school, aren't you?
Well, I mean, my generation was, yes. But after my generation, they quit teaching civics. They really quit teaching anything but their narrative on American history, even. So if it wasn't for our parents or, you know, like me, I'm a homeschooler. So I taught it to my children, but they weren't going to learn it in public school. No, they weren't going to learn any of it in public school. I mean, they were being taught in public school that the world was going to end in 2012 because the Mayans said so. How stupid is that? But they really thought that. My kids' friends really thought the world was going to freaking end in 2012 because the Mayans said so. And I'm like, the Mayans did not say so. What the hell's going on?
They didn't say that specifically. And also the Mayan calendar was out a certain number of years, wasn't it? So the Mayan calendar 2012 was actually last year, I heard. And so the old world is coming to an end.
Yeah.
Really what it was the old world that was coming to an end, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's the end of one age and the beginning of a new one. We're in the age of Aquarius now. Yeah. That's what the calendar was all about. You know, we were in the age of, what was it, Pisces? I think it was Pisces that we came out of, and now we're in the age of Aquarius because it goes backwards in the procession stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And real quick, I just want to shout out to Miss Pin Pin. Don't watch me eat so that you don't gain weight. Because she said that in the comments. She says she can watch somebody eat and gain weight.
Yeah.
And then also, what?
I was going to say, Gavin made a good point. Like, Canadians are too passive, and I think Australians are very passive too, unfortunately. You know,
I do too.
You look at what's happening in Europe, and I mean, London's had some big protests, Germany last year, France and Greece, and I think even Italy, as far as I'm aware. And there may be some other ones too. The MSM isn't going to cover it. But, you know, in Australia, and I don't know what their lockdown measures are like, but, you know, I think if anything's going to happen now, like definitely the energy is being transferred. And if anything's going to happen in Australia, perhaps New South Wales and Victoria will have something big. We've all got an Australia-wide rally this weekend, so that'll be interesting. I'll be going to that. But we'll have to see what kind of numbers we get. Yeah.
Is that where the majority of the ballsy people live?
Where's that?
Where you're talking about? Where you're going to have the rallies? People. Is that where all the ballsy people, you know, they got balls. They're brave.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. I'm not sure. They're all mostly in the city. Ours is not in the city, but yeah, we'll have to see. Because the 3 states are in high alert at the moment. Maybe even 4 coming in, maybe 4 by then. I don't know, but we'll have to see
Great.
what
I
happens.
really hope it grows. I really hope that more of our fellow Aussies find their voice and their courage. I really genuinely
Yeah,
do.
me too. Yeah, me too.
Okay, now Kaz, the Truth Warriors, she says that she's an alien and so is her son. I want to know what she means by that, because just for the record, I think I'm an alien too. I think that all star children are aliens, to be honest. I think that we all came here from different systems and different whatever time frames, maybe even for this moment. I mean, we volunteered to be, maybe some of us have been here before, but I mean, really at our core, we're all aliens. We're all star children. We all came from stardust, you know, honestly.
Right.
Even the scientists will agree with that. So we're kind of all aliens. And then somebody else had made a comment about how, oh yeah, it was Walkabout with Kira. Most alien races have good guys and bad guys, and I totally agree with that. And I meant to say that earlier. We got sidetracked because, you know, like people want to paint the reptilians as all bad, but I don't think all reptilians are bad. Just like maybe not all Pleiadians or all Andromedans could be good. I mean, you know, all humans aren't good or bad, right?
Mm.
I mean, it's kind of the same way with even with animals. I mean, not all deer are. I just choked on my cake. Not all deer are peaceful, but not all Rottweilers are, you know, bloodthirsty beasts either. So it's a yin and yang. You've got good and bad in all groups, regardless.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So apparently this march is worldwide. Are you having anything in America? Have you heard anything about anything in any marches?
For marches?
Yeah, for a march, like a
For the
rally
marches?
this weekend. Yeah.
No, I haven't heard anything, but honestly, I'm not even listening to the programs that I usually would follow and keep up with stuff lately. I had to kind of just tune all of it out and get myself back in, like recalibrate me again. So I haven't been keeping up with a whole lot of it lately. And I used to be a diehard, you know, follow everything that I could name a million people, you know, but I don't know if we really want to drop names or not. But like, you know what I mean? Like I'm, you know, people that we would follow for information.
Yeah.
I would follow them, you know, daily, religiously almost. And past couple weeks, I've just had to take a step back and chill. So no, I don't know anything about any marches currently.
Yeah.
Carol, you're welcome. What'd she say? Kelly, you must have been in a different dimension when you met the young. I might have been in a different dimension when I met that girl. I may have been, because nobody could sure find me that should have been able to find me. And Maria Elise, she has friends that she believes are Andromedan walk-ins. And walk-ins is like a subject we could talk about for an hour, in my opinion, because I think there's all kinds of walk-ins and walkouts for that matter. Because I think a lot of times the soul that is here cannot handle the energy and the vibration of this planet because it's so negative. And so when they end up in an accident or something, they just like choose to check out of the body. And then another soul has to step in to finish their mission or whatever. So you got to walk out, and then you got to walk in, you know. And a lot of times that happens with star children, you know, star seeds. Not necessarily that you're a child when it happens, just that you're a star seed. Because I think we're probably faced with a lot more challenges than the average Joe in life. We get a lot thrown at us so that we can be resilient and learn how to still keep our heart chakra open.
Yeah. Yeah, Gavin said that all these years he felt like a weirdo, and ever since lockdown, he's never felt more normal. And I think that
Yeah,
we've spoken
right.
about this before. I said that to you. I was like, I always just feel really weird, or I felt like behind, or whatever it was, that you didn't really fit in somehow, and everybody was kind of at a much higher level, and you felt kind of out of place. I think we can all relate to that on some level. We're all
Yeah,
there's a reason why we're awake, for God's sakes, like, and everybody else isn't,
exactly. 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 And I think that's a common theme again with star seeds, because all of us feel like such a loner and such a weirdo and so ostracized from where everybody else is in society and their thoughts and their belief systems and stuff. And we are out here questioning everything, trusting nothing, you know. So we're kind of like odd man out. We're the black sheep.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a common theme with, and even a lot of truthers, people that are out there seeking truth, they're star children and they don't even realize it, you know, like they just don't have a damn clue.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's life doesn't come with a manual. It's very difficult to kind of, when you don't know, it's difficult to find your way, and it does take some time to get to know yourself as well.
Right, exactly.
And I think that people that get to know themselves, or are naturally wanted, that they're looking for truth in any way they can find it. It's not just about what's happening in the world, it's the truth about who you are too, like you said. We're not going to find that unless we ask the questions. We're just not.
Exactly. We have to ask questions and we have to seek out answers. And we have to use our bullshit radar that we are all born with. Every one of us, we're born with a bullshit radar. We just don't listen to it. We second guess it. We really are.
Yeah.
Like we really are. We know
True,
bullshit when
true.
we hear it. But then we're
Yeah,
like, well,
absolutely.
maybe it wasn't bullshit. You know, we just second guess it.
No, we had a supposed illness, the illness that's ravaging the world. We had a death over east recently, only a few days ago, and obviously most of those deaths are bullshit anyway. But when I heard the story about how it happened, I was at the gym, and I heard or I read it, I don't know, on the TV or whatever. And I was like, there's something just doesn't sit right with me about that. And then later on that day, it turned out that the woman actually died of a heart attack or something. And I don't look, I
Oh,
haven't
wow.
verified that, but at least there was an alternative story, And of course, the media is going to be the media. They're going to tell you a lie no matter what anyway, most of the time. The media will only tell you the truth if it's in their best interest to.
Right.
And then they'll probably exacerbate it too.
Yes, I think so. And I just want to give a shout out to Stephanie and Gavin both. I love their comments on here. And JD Lee, contact me by email. We need to talk. We seriously need to be friends. she's got a lot of information. We need to have her sharing
Yeah,
about
well,
her
I
experience.
offered, JD, I've offered you to come onto the channel a couple of times, and I know you were experiencing the thing you're experiencing, but that invitation's still there if you want to come on, or we can do it. Go into Kelly's channel or whatever.
Yeah, that would be fun. What's this about Oprah?
Oh,
You want to cover some more?
she had the thing, did she, Penny? I didn't realize that she had that. Okay, so apparently the woman that died, she was only in her 50s, I think, late 50s maybe, or early 50s, and apparently she had the old the old cure.
Yeah, the old poke.
Yeah. So
Nobody can go to a club without getting the passport? That's some
In the
bullshit.
UK.
Y'all,
In the UK. Apparently before September or something, you have to do it. Is that right? So you know that
yeah, that's
you know
what she
that they
says.
yeah.
We need to be revolting against these things. This is ridiculous. They just don't want us to have any kind of joy or fun. Talk about fun suckers. They are really becoming serious fun suckers.
Mm,
It's pissing me off.
yeah.
Okay, so we covered this question. What do you think
Here's an
about the
interesting one.
question about? Okay, go ahead.
Out of all the Earth's ancient civilizations, which ones provided sage guidance and prophecy for our current times and role models on how to best live our lives in the 21st century?
That's exactly the one I was going to choose.
Right, because that's the only one that was left.
Do you want me to answer?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah.
Is it really? Oh, I guess it is. Oh, it is, because the one about the hair falling out was the last question, but we kind of did it sort of first. Okay.
Right.
So you want me to answer first?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Um, so I think we can go all the way back to the wise men of biblical days. You know, we had Moses, we had Jesus, we had Muhammad, we had Solomon, we had King David. There were lots of prophets and sages from all the way back in the day, right? But also the Hindu as a culture had really great prophets. There were the Mayans who were also great seers and prophets and sages. Um, you know, if you believe that the Atlanteans existed, I think Atlanteans were also great seers and prophets. And even in Homer's day, when he was writing the accounts as a bard of, you know, the gods, Zeus and all of them on Mount Olympus or wherever the heck they were. Um, I think there were great sages and prophets even in that time. So I think they've been here through history over and over and over, you know, and we kind of look at our current life and modern life as completely separate and distant from how our history was, with having prophets and having sages and having gurus and ascended masters that would come to try to teach us things. And we don't really view modern life as having any of them. But what are all of we doing? All of us truth seekers, all of us light workers, all the star children. Aren't we, in a sense, the modern day prophets and sages that are trying to usher in a more beautiful, peaceful, harmonized way of living, you know, compared to the norm? So I think that the prophets and the sages continue on as important parts of history, even in our current life. But you know, if I had to choose a few, culture-wise, I would choose the Mayans and the Hindus. And as far as naming names, I mean, definitely Moses, definitely Solomon, definitely David, definitely Muhammad, definitely Jesus. They were all trying to, Gandhi, you know, even, for goodness sakes, was a great seer and sage of his time. They were all trying to teach us that balance and that inner knowing that we're disconnected with, you know? So I just, it's hard to choose just one or two, because I know all through our Earth history, we've had them, going all the way back to Atlantis, or, you know, possibly even Mu and Lemuria, but I can't remember that far back. So
Are you able to remember past lives, some of your past lives?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That video that I did where
do you think we'll all have that
that
ability
video,
eventually?
I think you do. Yes. I think you have that ability within you now. You just don't
Right.
understand how to tap into it yet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, that video that I did for the lunar eclipse, you know, I was naming past lives in that video. I mean, I remember being around when Solomon went to his demise. I remember the Atlantean, everything. Like, there's not one word for it. The commerce, the travel, the engineering. I mean, it was huge, right? And I remember very mundane type lives, such as being an African American slave in a cotton field. I very well remember that. I mean, that's a very real memory for me. I think
Right.
as a child, that's the reason that I was always so drawn to walk over to their side of town and spend my summer day sitting on top of a drainage ditch pipe, cane pole fishing with this elderly gentleman that I would sing folk songs with. I mean, that was like the highlight of my day, to go sit on a drainage ditch and cane pole fish and sing folk songs. You know, it brought me pure joy because it felt like home. I mean, that's how
Right.
recent that life was for me in my little child mind. I remember being a young lady that was an equestrian. You know, she rode horses, probably somewhere in England. It was England type landscaping settings. And I sat on the edge of a well and fell in the well backwards and died. I was early 20s, but I vividly remember it. You know, I can tell you what I had on. I can tell you exactly what I was wearing when I died. I mean, I remember many lives. And again, I think we all have that ability. It's just something within us is blocking the memory. And perhaps even, the voice just said to me, perhaps even the necessity of the blockage is so that you don't put too much emphasis on who you used to be in past lives, because who we need to learn to be in this current life is to understand that we are truly a spiritual being having a physical human experience. And so if we were all remembering all of these past lives, then we would be getting caught up in those things rather than focusing forward on who we're supposed to be learning to be from the inside out and growing and developing from.
Yeah. Don't you
sense.
think though that if we did remember all our past lives, that we wouldn't make many of the mistakes that we made previously again in this life?
No.
No.
How many times in this life did you have to relearn a lesson before it got through your hard head?
Yeah, a few times.
See?
But if I remembered those times, they, you know, I may have made those mistakes in a previous life, you know. So, you know, maybe I could have learnt them quicker.
Did you not remember those? Did you not remember those same repeated mistakes in this lifetime, and that's why you repeated them?
No, I guess you forget about them. I don't know. I guess you forget,
because you know, like I full well know that electricity and water don't mix, but I still decided to step barefoot on a metal stove broiler pan to plug in a microwave that was sitting in a little dot of water that lit me up and almost killed me. And I knew better, right? I mean, I knew better, but stupid me, I'm thinking, well, it ain't gonna hurt. You know, it's not gonna hurt.
Yeah.
So how many times does a person need to get shocked before they learn their lesson? Right?
Yeah,
I mean, I think we just continually, we're kind of dumb in a lot of ways, David.
Yeah, I can see that.
We're kind of dumb. I mean, I know several people that have had to repeat a mistake in just this one lifetime before they finally get it. You know, granted, mine was an extreme example, but I mean, we do stupid, repeated stuff all the time.
I tell you what, though, we are not going to want to repeat this mistake that's happening now ever again.
Ever. And that's the point of it being so extreme. That's the
Exactly.
point.
That's why it has to be extreme.
So that nobody ever forgets again.
We can never repeat this again, because how many times has history repeated itself? Many times. This has to be the last time, the final time, for at least a good while, because
I think it will be.
Yeah, it better be. JD was talking about mermaids, and Kelly and I agree with you, JD. We think that mermaids are real too.
Yep. Maybe not as pretty as everybody likes to say they are, but they're definitely real.
Yeah. They don't look like what we would normally think a mermaid would be, but
no, and they're really kind of stinkers. They're stinkery. They're mischievous, Yeah, I read this article once. There was this, I don't know what kind of, some type of irrigation that some village in like Uganda or somewhere, they were trying to do something to channel the water off a different way or something. And every time the workers would leave for lunch or leave for the end of the day, they would come back and all of their stuff would be like broken half and the strings cut and all that are way down in the water, right? Or way down in the pipe. Like maybe they tied a weight to a string and it ended up they put it in the pipe on purpose. They come back the next time to work and everything would be messed up and tore up. And the locals swore that the mermaids were doing it because they were angry for the workers messing with the water. And I'm like, what? Yeah. They believe in mermaids too.
Yeah, they're definitely. I think they are. I think they're real for sure.
Yeah, I do too.
Does anybody have any other questions they'd like to ask?
I'm trying to catch up on all these comments over here.
I tried, I found a plant in the house that was a little bit wilted. So I put my hand over it. I don't know for how long should I do that. I only did it for a minute or something.
Heal it?
Yeah.
Just listen to your intuition tell you how long you need to do it.
Okay. I'll try it again.
I mean, there's no set time to do it. So just listen to your intuition when you're healing. And if it feels like it's enough, then it's enough. If it feels like it needs more, then keep going a little longer. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Belinda says that they're doing demonstrations in London, but there's no press coverage on it. So that's good to know. And I'm not surprised that the press isn't covering it at all.
The only time the press ever covers a protest is if they've got a plant in there causing trouble. That's what I think.
Say that again.
I said the only time the press ever covers a protest is typically if they have someone planted in there causing trouble, and they go and interview them, and they make it look bad and violent and negative and things like that.
Yeah.
That's typically what happens.
Right.
So Gavin says he used to dream of future events when he was younger, and he wants to know if it's possible to nurture that gift and strengthen it.
Yes. It's possible for everyone to have future vision dreams. But yes, absolutely, you can nurture that. You can start with just simply saying, I want to remember as you go to sleep. If it's happening, if your premonitions are happening in your sleep, just say, I want to remember. And when you wake up from the dream that you feel like is a premonition, then write it down. Have like a journal or a notepad or something next to your bed. Because as you first wake up and as you first go to sleep at night are the times when you are the easiest to connect with spirit. You're the most, like, it's very normal and natural to be connected at that point because you're not all the way out of the dream state. So that's the best time to write down anything that you're remembering from being in the dream state, and especially if you feel like it's premonition type stuff. And then also just to add to that, as far as like where we're going to be in a few years and where we're going to be in 2030 and stuff like that, we can actually bring that forth by focusing our thoughts on the way we want to see that outcome and start projecting the energy of the emotions, of the excitement, of the joy, of the happiness, and everything that we want to encompass for our future. Start feeling that as if it's already happening. And that's going to bring it forth quicker too. And the more you practice things like that, then the stronger your own natural abilities are going to be for you. And so if you're already someone who can dream premonitions, then you're going to start dreaming more premonition type dreams. If you're someone that just suddenly knows something right before it happens in your waking state, then that's going to get stronger for you. Just simply from doing your own inner spiritual focus and projection and manifesting is what I'm trying to say. If you're practicing being a creator and manifesting, all of those natural abilities are going to start more naturally strengthening, because just like someone said earlier, it's muscles, and the more you use your muscles, the stronger they get, right? Get big and strong.
So
I feel like such a dork because everybody can see me being stupid.
that's okay. That's okay. They love you all the same.
Well, I hope so. I love them. Oh, and somebody
Glenn,
else said something really cool I wanted to find somewhere.
or while you're
Where
looking
was it
for that,
at?
Glenn would also
Okay.
like to know if eating meat causes an issue with ascension.
No, only if you believe it will. If you believe it will, then it will. Do you see? Because no, I mean, meat is necessary. I'm sorry for the people that don't like meat eaters, but meat has great proteins and fat that's necessary, and lots of minerals that we don't get from a lot of other foods. And yes, you can eat fruits and vegetables and find those supplements if that's what you want to do. Or you can enjoy having your damn bacon and your steak and not feel guilty about it. And I'm on that train. I love meat and I'm not giving it up. I'm just not. And I'm not going to be apologetic for it. And I don't recommend that anybody do anything that's going to make them feel guilty in any way, shape, or form, because that is going to be negative to their ascension. It is going to hinder it. You're self-sabotaging. That's why
Right.
self-love
Yeah.
is so important.
Yeah.
You know?
Personally, I would probably eat more meat if it was a lot more humane, you know.
Yeah, that's
Just
why I buy
because,
from a lot of local farmers and stuff, because they are humane, you know. So
yeah,
yeah, and hi Glenn,
because you
by
know,
the way.
I like to have a burger every now and then. You know, I haven't had any bacon in such a long time, or you know, I had a burger for the first time in a long time, like a meat one. I mean, I make my own, you know, veggie ones. It's not really the same, but I had a meat one for the
Like a
first
veggie
time.
burger. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
Yeah,
make the face.
no, it's okay. It's okay. But yeah, I had a
I
meat
can't
one for the
imagine.
first time a few weeks ago.
I'm a meat and potatoes kind of girl. I love my meat. And,
Yeah.
you know, just like I wrote an article today about gelatin and the importance of gelatin and its health benefits. And gelatin is derived from the collagen in the bones of the animals that we eat. And it's very beneficial to us. Like there's a whole host of things that gelatin can do. It promotes good gut health. You know, you can't get that from your fruits and vegetables, guys. I'm sorry, you just can't. Like, you can't. there are a lot of things that we need that are beneficial, and God didn't put animals on this planet for us to not use for food, but we're not supposed to abuse anything. We're not supposed to take more than we need. We're not supposed to manipulate. We're not supposed to be greedy. We're not supposed to be eating and taking things in hate or fear or any of those things. Do it morally. But no, if you want to be a meat eater, be a meat eater. If you want to be a vegetarian, be a vegetarian. If you want to be vegan, be vegan. Be proud of it. Don't be apologetic for it. But also accept other people and their choices, and don't be judgmental, because that's not what the Great Awakening is about. We're trying to get rid of division, right? And all of these different things, like Glenn's question, are division. I mean, it's just all different ways to divide us, to create some type of negativity. And we need to just have true love and acceptance of ourselves and others. I mean, honestly, feel good and proud about your choices and your lifestyle, and accept others for theirs, even if it doesn't mesh with you. As long as we're not bringing harm to anything, who the hell cares what other people do with their life?
Right.
I mean, I smoke cigarettes, but I preach love and peace. Being a smoker doesn't make me a bad person, but there's a lot of people that put you in this box all the time that think, oh, if you're spiritual, you can only talk spiritual stuff, and you can't cuss, and you can't smoke, and you can't make any mistakes. You're supposed to be a saint because you're teaching spiritual inspiration. Well, no, I smoke. I cuss like a sailor sometimes, but I also know the difference between good, decent, right, and wrong, bad, evil, and godly and righteous. I very well know the difference. So we need to stop putting ourselves in boxes and putting labels on things, honestly. And I'll get off my soapbox now.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's a really good point. Yeah, I think we should wrap it up soon. It's almost coming up to 2 hours. Well, yeah. But if anybody has some last questions they want to get answered, let us know. Otherwise, we want to thank you for joining us, and we'll do this again sometime.
Yeah, we will. And I'm telling you what, JD Lee needs to be my friend.
Yeah, she said she's going to email you anyway.
Yeah, that's awesome. She says she cusses like a sailor too. I love it. And yes, Glenn, thank you for asking the question, and I love you much. Glenn created our my Telegram channel for me. He's a beautiful, dear friend.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything you'd like to share?
That's a new one. Have we seen a comment from Bernadette before? I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh, she saw the soldiers in the tunnels doing remote viewing. Yeah, I did too, Bernadette. Matter of fact, my brother and I both did. We decided to do a remote view when all of the talk of the dumbs first started. And then we got together later and compared notes. And yeah, we both saw very similar things to that. I don't know how much we can say being a live video and all, but you get the gist of it. We saw the same things that are being reported. Let's put it that way. Right?
Right.
The rescues and yeah.
Yeah.
I just broke my damn fingernail.
Oh, no.
I know. You don't care. You're a guy.
No, I keep mine very short.
You don't get it, David. I know. You don't get it.
No.
It's a big deal. No, anyway.
Do you have any final words then?
I connected with the mother tree yesterday. She said there was a big portal open. There is a big portal opening up soon. Actually, what is today's date? 21st, second.
20, yeah,
Say the
20.
22nd. Yeah. And the
Yeah.
full moon is on the 23rd. And so like the 22nd, the 23rd, and the 24th of July is a big, powerful, great time for doing manifestation and stuff because there is a portal opening up. And then there's another one called the, there's something on my glasses, called the Lionsgate portal that I believe opens on August 8th, which is also a very important time for manifesting and co-creating. So keep that in mind, guys. We can do a lot of wonderful work on those portal opening days. And what do I want to say in closing? Why do you always put me on the spot like that, David?
Because I know you come up with the best stuff.
What do you want to close with? Wait, here, let me do this better. David, is there any closing words that you would like to leave the audience with?
Yeah, keep the faith, hold the line. Things are happening a lot that we can't see, and yeah, maintain a positive mindset, take care of yourself and your family, and prepare just in case, you know.
Yeah, prep, always prep. Great words. See, you can do this too. I don't always have to be the one. I think you did quite well.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And I had a great time. I love doing the live thing. This is fun.
It is fun.
We need to do this more often. Now that we know how. Well, you know how.
Yeah.
You got to teach me how. Still have no clue.
Yeah, it wasn't as difficult as I
even
thought.
Chat. I still can't even chat.
I'll have to fix that.
I don't know what's going on. I'm just here. Thank you, Bernadette. Thank you, everybody. I've really loved interacting with all of you. Not that David's boring or anything, just more fun to add company to the mix.
Yeah. Yes,
Oh, big love to you too, JD. Blessings to you too, Jesse. Look at me answering all your chat stuff. Like it's my show or something.
It is the Kelly show.
It's the David and Kelly show. It says so, right? Actually, my name is first. It says the Kelly and David show.
Kelly and David live, one night only.
Live. Is that what else it says? Because mine just has some dots.
Yeah, no.
Does it say that?
I think it says.
Oh,
Answering your questions. I think that's what it says.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay, it's not one day only. We're gonna do this again. Okay, fine.
No, I was just saying.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody. See you again soon. Thanks for joining us.
Bye. See ya.